Hi everyone, welcome back to Russian for Beginners. Today we're going to be learning about adverbs. So there are lots of different kinds of adverbs, both in Russian and English. Some focus on time, space, frequency and degree. And we're not going to be learning about that today. We're going to be learning about adverbs of manner. So adverbs of manner are just words that describe the way or the manner in which an action is carried out. For example, happily, slowly, thoughtfully, carefully. These are all adverbs of manner and it's what we're going to be learning today. So with that said, let's jump straight in. The first thing you need to know about adverbs in Russian is that they are not always used in the same way as in English. Many adverbs in Russian can be translated as it is followed by an adjective, such as it is cold, it is funny, it is boring. In English, these are using adjectives. The adverbs would be coldly, funnily, and boringly. But while in English these are not adverbs, in Russian they are. Холодно means it is cold, смешно means it is funny, and скучно means it is boring. This is a really important aspect about adverbs that you must keep in mind. You would not say это холодно здесь to mean it is cold here. You would simply say холодно здесь or здесь холодно. You would not say это очень смешно to mean it is very funny. You would say очень смешно. And to say are you bored, you would definitely not say ты скучный because that means are you boring. You would say тебе скучно. It is boring to you. You may notice that a lot of these adverbs are very similar to their adjectives. And that is just because, like in English, there are some rules which you can use to form adverbs from adjectives. Let's take a look at just how you can do that. We'll start with the adjective интересный. So to make this into an adverb, simply remove the adjective ending y and add o to the end. Интересный becomes интересно. Here we have some example sentences. Интересная история. Interesting story. And that's an adjective in both English and Russian. Звучит очень интересно. It sounds very interesting. Интересно here is characterizing звучит. How does it sound? It sounds interesting. In English, it's translated with the adjective interesting rather than the adverb interestingly. Let's look at some more examples. So we have интересный человек, meaning interesting man or person. And remember, in Russian, adjectives have to agree with the nouns that they are describing, but adverbs are indeclinable. So they don't change at all and they don't have to agree with anything in the sentence. Let's take a look at the next sentence. Мне интересно, кто этот человек. It is interesting to me, мне интересно, who that man is. I've included this sentence because it is very common for the adverb интересно to mean wonder. And it often uses the dative, as we can see here, to express it. Мне is the dative meaning to me. To me, it is interesting. Мне интересно. And in Russian, you might notice that there's a comma, and this always happens when интересно is being used as to mean wonder. Мне интересно, comma, кто этот человек. The comma in Russian is used quite differently to how it's used in English, and that's something that I'll cover in another lesson. Now we'll look at a new adjective. Серьезный. Серьезный. And the adverb серьезно. Серьезно. To say I have a serious problem, you would use the adjective У меня серьезная проблема. But to say я думал, ты серьезно? I thought you were serious, you would use the adverb. And this is because you're not saying I thought you were a serious person. or a serious thing, you're saying, I thought you were acting or speaking in a serious way. You're actually referring to a verb even though there's not a verb in this sentence. Я думал, ты серьезно. And compare that to серьезная проблема, which is a concrete noun that has to agree with the adjective. У меня серьезная проблема. Now let's look at some more examples. Мне надо задать тебе серьезный вопрос. I need to ask you a serious question. So задать вопрос is just to give a question, literally. It's the phrase for to ask someone a question. And мне надо just means, literally, to me, it is necessary, and it's how you say I need to do something. Мне надо задать тебе серьезный вопрос. And because серьезный is referring to a specific noun, it's an adjective. Compare that to это очень серьезно. Now this may be confusing because you would think that an adjective would be necessary to refer to this. This is very serious. However, as we mentioned earlier, Russian adverbs are often translated as it is and then the adjective. It is serious would be серьезно. And to say this is serious, you can use это серьезно. Это серьезно as a general phrase. So это очень серьезно simply means this is very serious. Это очень серьезно. If there's anything unclear about that, please let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to clarify that for you. There are two types of adjectives in Russian, hard stem and soft stem. Most adjectives in Russian are hard stem, including the ones that we just looked at, интересный and серьезный. The only soft stem adjectives are those ending in ni or she, and they're soft because they're followed by a soft vowel. So for more information about soft and hard sounds, you can check out my other video on Russian pronunciation for beginners. Just like before, we're going to remove the adjective ending, but this time we'll add ye instead of or, which is a soft ending and therefore enables the adjective stem to remain soft. However, there are a few exceptions in Russian which take or instead of ye, and additionally a lot of soft stem adjectives don't even have adverbs. So in practice there's only a small number of adverbs that you have to remember which do end in ye. Here we have some examples. Внешний means external and внешне means externally. Судья по его or по ее внешнему виду. Судья means judging. По is by, его or ее, his or her. And then the phrase внешний вид simply means outward appearance or look. Она счастлива только внешне. She is happy, она счастлива, только, only, внешне, outwardly, externally, or in appearance. Внешний мир means the outside world, and внешне он был обычным человеком. Outwardly, or to all appearances, he looked like a normal man. Внешне, externally. Here we have another example of a soft stem adjective, искренний, искренний, and the adverb искренне, meaning sincere and genuine. So, вы очень искренняя женщина. You are a very sincere woman. You'll notice that искренняя has a slightly different adjectival ending to how adjectives usually decline, and that's just because soft stem adjectives decline in a slightly different way, which we'll look at in another video. Вы очень, you are a very, искренняя женщина, sincere woman. Я искренне хочу помочь. I sincerely or genuinely want to help. And it's the adverb because it's describing the verb want. How is this person wanting to help? Genuinely and sincerely. Я приношу искренние извинения. So we have a similar phrase in English to offer sincere apologies. Приношу means to bring. Искренне, sincere. And извинения means apologies. So I've translated it as I sincerely apologize, but you can also translate it as I offer my sincere apologies. Он искренне любил тебя. Он искренне любил тебя. He genuinely loved you. Again, it's the adverb because it's describing the verb любить. So obviously I've spoken a lot up to this point. Now it's your turn to practice what we've just gone through. So here's a list of regular adjectives in Russian, which you can practice changing into their respective adverbs. Feel free to pause the video to work out the answers. I'm just going to start going through them now. So we have приятный, приятный, and that's a regular hard stem adjective. So it goes to приятно, приятно. Нормальный, нормальный, and that has the adverb нормально, нормально. And this is a very common word in Russian, нормально, meaning okay or fine, all right, нормально. Блестящий, блестящий, that means brilliant or bright, блестящий. And notice the ending "shi", it's a soft stem adjective, so it changes to блестящий, блестящий. Медленный, медленный means slow, so the adverb would be медленно, медленно. Now we have быстрый, быстрый, fast or quick, and that just changes to быстро, быстро. Next, notice the ending here, средний, средний. It's a soft stem, so it changes to средне, средне. And finally, крайний, крайний means extreme, and because it has a soft ending there, it goes to крайне, крайне. So well done if you got any or all of those correct. Let's move on. Another type of adverb in Russian ends in the long "y", and these adverbs are derived from adjectives which end with ski or ski, and they only come from these sorts of adjectives. So let's look at some examples. The adjective логический means logical, and the adverb is логически. Adjective логический, adverb логически. Then we have исторический, meaning historical, and the adverb исторически. Исторический, adjective, исторически. Obviously the difference in pronunciation is quite subtle, but you can usually tell from context which is being used. Within the category of adjectives ending ski and ski, there are two types which also can add po to the beginning when they become adverbs. Now the first type you may already be familiar with. How do you ask someone in Russian if they speak Russian or if they speak any language? Вы говорите по-русски. Do you speak Russian? These types of adverbs can also mean in the style of that country or nationality. So if you're doing something in a Russian way or a Russian style, you can say по-русски, or in an English way would be по-английски. So for example, if you want to say Italian style coffee, you would say кофе по-итальянски. Now the second type of adjective ending ski and ski, which can add po when it becomes an adverb, are those with an animate connotation. So what I mean by that is any word that you would use to describe a living being or human behavior. So for example, drużyski means friendly. The adverb is podrużyski. And then duracki means foolish or ridiculous. And the adverb is poduracki, like a fool, foolishly or ridiculously. Now I'm afraid it's about to get a bit more confusing. This second type, adjectives with animate connotations, doesn't always need por. Sometimes you'll see them without por, and there's just a slight difference in meaning. So adverbs like this, with por, often answer the question, similar to what or whom. For example, podrużyski could be translated as like friends, whereas without the por, and drużyski simply means friendly, so it takes on the role of a more traditional adverb, just describing the verb. Whereas with por, it creates this comparison. The most important thing to take away from all this is that adjectives ending in ski or tski that refer to nationalities take por when they become adverbs. Adjectives ending ski or tski that have animate connotations also, for the most part, take por. But adjectives that are ending ski or tski that don't have animate connotations do not take por. As we saw in the previous slide, исторически, логически. Finally, any adverb endingически cannot combine with por. And that's just a little rule that you have to remember. The third type of adverb we're going to cover today actually looks a bit more like an adjective than an adverb. And that's because it's formed by adding por to the beginning of an adjective in the dative case and in the masculine or neuter form. Now that's a lot to take in, but don't worry, it's not as complicated as it sounds. Basically, they all look a bit like this. We have the example drugoj. So drugoj means different or another. The dative singular in the masculine form is drugomu, drugomu, and the adverb is podrugomu, podrugomu. But they all end with omu or emu, as we'll see. So that would be translated as in a different way. Делать по-другому, to do something in a different way, or just to do in a different way. Now we have another example, новый, новый, new. So the dative singular would be новому, новому, and the adverb would therefore be по-новому, по-новому, or in a new way. And then we have one last example, настоящий. So this means real or genuine, and the dative singular is a bit softer, it's настоящему, настоящему. So the adverb is по-настоящему, по-настоящему, in a proper way. So as you can see, they all look quite similar, по-другому, по-новому, по-настоящему. Now, if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, I'd just point out that this type of adverb is actually quite rare, and we're going to cover the most common types of adverbs in this form today, so it's not something that you need to worry about too much. Okay, so obviously that was a lot of information for you to take in, so here we have a quick exercise to practice putting adjectives into adverbs. Note that these will not include the first type of adverbs that we went through. This exercise is just going to include the ones that we've just looked at, so adjectives ending in ski or tski, and adverbs that take por plus an adjective in the dative, the last slide that we were looking at. So I'm going to go through these quickly and give you a couple of clues because I realise it might be difficult. If you don't want the clues, then just pause the video now and write out your answers. So here we have bratski, bratski. Now I've underlined the ski because that's obviously important. And then I would just ask, what kind of connotation does that have? Is that animate or inanimate? Then we have prежний. Now I've underlined ni because that's a soft ending, so it's not going to be omu, it's going to be the other kind, and that will take por as an adverb. So now we have автоматически. Now I've also underlined ski because that's important. And then what did we say about adverbs ending in ichiski? Is that going to take på or not? The fourth word we have is vidimly, vidimly. So that is going to go to a på type of adverb, but just think about how you would change that. Then the last type we have is detski, detski, okay, and that's obviously ending in ski, which is important. And what kind of connotation does that have? Will that take på or not? Lastly, I've added in some bonus questions if you're feeling brave. So you may not have put pronouns into the dative before, so I've just put a quick tip on how to do that. All you have to do is remove the last letter, the I kratkaya, and add emo. So these are going to take på to become adverbs, and you'll see what they mean in English once I reveal the answers. So I'm going to start going through the answers now. Bratski goes to po-bratski, po-bratski, like a brother or brotherly. Прежний will go to по-прежнему. Автоматически will just be автоматически because it's inanimate. Видимый will just be по-видимому, apparently or obviously. And then детский will become по-детски, childishly or in a childish way, like a child. Then for the last two, we have по-своему. Now this is really common and it just means in one's own way or in one's own way of doing things. So Johnny likes to do this по-своему. He likes to do this in his own way. And then the last one we have is по-моему. Now this is often used to mean I think or in my opinion, and you can also use it in my own way, but по-своему is more common. So по-моему, I think, in my opinion. Okay, well done if you got those correct. I'm sorry that this was such an information dump. Let's look at our last type of adverb for today. The fourth and final type of adverb that we're going to look at today are those derived from nouns. But don't worry, I'm not going to be showing you another rule for how to create adverbs in Russian. We're just going to look at already set adverbs and how they came about. So the first type are those that are basically just nouns in the instrumental case. Obviously that can be a bit confusing because the same word can be a noun and an adverb. Basically you just have to rely on context to decide which it is. So let's look at these examples. We have dar, meaning gift, and in the instrumental as an adverb it means free or for nothing. Darum, darum. Then we have riad, meaning row, file or series. Riad. And as an adverb it means next to. Riadum, riadum, riadum. Then we have shopet, shopet, whisper, and shopetum, shopetum means in a whisper. So the next type we have are nouns which have prepositions tagged onto the beginning. So we have dal, dal, meaning distance, and then when you put is in front of it, it becomes izdali, which literally means from distance, from a distance or from afar. Izdali, izdali. Then we have sluch, sluch, which means somebody's sense of hearing. And when you say sluch, sluch, it means aloud. And our last example is miasta, miasta, meaning place. And when you put v in front of it, it becomes vmiestie, and it means together or in one place, vmiestie. So I just thought that would be an interesting bit of word formation regarding adverbs to show you. But these obviously don't change, and you can't just create adverbs by putting nouns into the instrumental case, obviously. These are just a few examples. So that's all that we have time for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it was useful. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments section and I'll get back to you. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, have a good day.